Microsoft Word has many different ways for you to lay content out within the document itself. One of the methods that we have is to create tables. And you can use tables for all sorts of different scenarios. In the example that I have open in front of you, I've got the exercise file that comes with this lecture. It's called number 12, Working with Tables. I've created a simple inventory list or an order list. It's got a few columns in here: product, quantity, price, and a total column, a few records, and some other information that I generated using calculations inside of a Word table. But this is just one use of using tables inside of Word. I just got a list of records that I want to organize and keep consistent in the look and feel of the organization of that data. Again, we could put just plain old text values in there. You could put images inside the table. You could put links in there. There could be all sorts of different types of lists that you want. But it's really just columns and rows of data. That's a table. And they're really simple to create. This example that I have open in front of you, we're going to recreate this over the next couple of lectures here. So let's start out first by just creating a table. So I've got a section down below for try it below. Okay. So I'm going to scroll here just a little bit. I'll keep that table on the screen there. That's going to be our example. And I'm going to drop down below. And if we look at this table here, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. You'll notice that fifth row isn't a complete row. It is, but it isn't. It's just formatted a little bit differently than the rest of the rows. So 4 columns, 5 rows. Okay, how do we create that table? Really simple. And first, I'm going to make sure my cursor is right below that try it below, because that's where I want to generate this table. I'm going to go up to Insert, top of my screen, and you'll see an option for Table. So I'm going to go into Table, and they give you this big interactive method to be able to create rows and columns within your Microsoft Word table. And you'll notice over there in the background that it's generating the table. See, I want one that is 4 columns wide, so it's four columns there, and it's got 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once I've established how many columns and rows I want, I'll click once, and I've now generated that table. Really simple. Insert table, and you tell it how many rows and columns you want within that table. Once you've chosen it, click Done. You've created a new table. Now that I've got the table generated, columns and rows, I can start inserting some content into those columns and rows, or the cells of the table. Each of these little rectangles represent a cell. If you work with Microsoft Excel, it's very similar. Columns, rows, individual cells that make up those columns and rows. So again, I'm just going to mimic the table up above. So I'll just drop into the first cell there. I'm going to type in product. There we have it. Now I want to move over to the next column, first row, hit my tab key, and that'll drop me over there. Here's quantity, tab again. Here's price, tab again. Here's total. All right. Now if I hit tab once again, this is going to take me down to the next row, and I can start to insert my records here. So I'll have oranges, tab. Let's say we sold 10 oranges at $1.25 a piece. Now this next one here, this total, that's going to be a calculation. I'm going to have Word multiply the quantity and the price together to be able to give us a total for that product or for that order. So let's ignore that for right now. We'll just drop down to the next row right below oranges, and we got grapes, tab 12, 235. Now I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard. I can just use my up, down, left, right arrows to be able to navigate the table as well. And I'll have bananas. We sold 24 at $1.10, and so on. So you create your table. You go up to Insert Table. You tell it how many rows, how many columns you want that table to have. And then it's just up to you to start entering data. You can type in your data, hit your tab key to move to the next column, tab, tab, tab. Once you're done with the column or a row, You can tab again and take you back down to the next row within the table. You can use your arrow keys up, down, you can use your mouse, however you do it. Okay? But get this table created. Insert table, 4 columns wide, 4 rows in height. Insert the products, the quantities, and the prices here. Don't worry about the totals just yet, or the total quantity or average price. So just ignore this stuff for right now. We're going to talk all about that here in a little bit. And we're also going to talk about formatting the table, trying to make it look more presentable, not just black and white lines all over the place. But again, just generate the table, drop in a handful of products, get a feel for how these tables work, and allow you to create more consistency in the layout of your content within a Microsoft Word document.